ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिनि। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees for today's Sikshastakam session. In the last 3 weeks, we have been discussing the last three shlokas, the first three shlokas of Sikshastakam. In the first shloka, we have seen the 7 effects of Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam means Sri Krishna Sankirtan will clean the mirror of our heart. Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. Sri Krishna Sankirtan will extinguish the blazing fire of this material existence. Third, Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Also, Sri Krishna Sankirtan will act like a benediction moon that spreads its cool rays to destroy the heat of material existence. Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. Sri Krishna Sankirtan is the life of all divine spiritual knowledge. And fifth effect, it's an ocean of bliss, Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Sixth, Pratipadam Purna Amrita Aswadanam means Sri Krishna Sankirtan will help us relish pure nectar at every step, at every word that we are discussing about the Lord. Sarvatma Snapanam, Sri Krishna Sankirtan will completely bathe our consciousness. So these are the 7 effects of holy name. Not holy name, Sri Krishna Sankirtanam in general. Now the second shloka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks specifically about the potency of holy name and our own misfortune in not taking advantage of that holy name. Namna Makari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shakti means holy name is very, very powerful, as powerful as Krishna himself. Tatrarpita niyamitaha smarane na kalaha. And there are no hard and fast rules to remember the holy name, to do namasmarana. Further, etadrishi tavakripa bhagavan mamamapi. And the Lord is extremely merciful in manifesting his form as holy name. So holy name is powerful, accessible, and merciful. But our misfortune is we don't have sufficient attraction to it. Durdaiva vidrushamiha janina anuragaha. Durdaiva means we are unfortunate because there is no anuraga, attraction towards chanting the holy names of the Lord. But how do we develop that attraction towards chanting the holy names of the Lord? So we need to cultivate the right mood. What is that right mood? That's mentioned in the third shloka of Sikshastakam. That is, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadaharihi. Trinadapi sunichena means being humbler than a blade of grass. Taroripi sahishnuna means being more tolerant than a tree. Amanina means not having any false prestige or not expecting respect or honor from others. Manadena means offering respect to everybody. So technically, they are called Sunichatva, Sahishnutva. Sunichatva means humility. Sahishnutva means tolerance. Then Amanina, Manada. Amanina means no false prestige. Manada means respecting everybody. So these are the 4 qualities required for chanting the holy names of the Lord. Constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord. That is Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. Nirabhimana means we don't have any false prestige. Sammana means we are offering samman, respect to everybody. Sunichatva, Sahishnutva, Nirabhiman, and Samman. These are the 4 qualities required to be able to chant the names of the Lord. And of course, when we are chanting the holy names of the Lord sincerely, we will be able to develop these four qualities. These four qualities will help us chant the holy names of the Lord nicely. And by regularly chanting the names of the Lord, we will be able to develop these qualities also. They help each other. Our humility will help us chant better. Our chanting will make us humble more. Like I often give this examples from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sukrambar Brahmachari in the Adilila of Chaitanya Charitamrita that for you to be able to chant the holy names of the Lord always, you should be humble. He quoted this shloka also, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnana. He also said you should tie this shloka as a kanthimala around your neck. Further, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told another devotee named Vasudeva Lapar that you will become humble, you will not be proud when you constantly chant the holy names of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Vasudeva Lapar and transformed him into a very handsome, beautiful, healthy person, healthy body. So he became concerned. Oh Lord, I have been given this special mercy by you. Maybe I'll become very proud of the special mercy that I received from you. So how can I be humble? Then Lord Chaitanya said, you please chant the holy names of the Lord. Then you will become humble. So when we are chanting Krishna's names, we'll become humble. When we are humble, we can chant Krishna's names nicely. Little humility. With that little humility, you chant. So by chanting, your humility will increase. So with that increased humility, you chant more. With that more chanting, you'll become even more humble. That's how they both will help each other. So what's the logic behind chanting and the connection between chanting and humility? When we are chanting the names of the Lord, we are basically acknowledging Krishna's superiority over us. The main reason for a conditioned soul to rot in this material existence is a sense of proprietorship, a sense of being an enjoyer, controller, master. I know everything. I am great. So this kind of mentality keeps the conditioned soul in the material world. But the more we chant the names of the Lord Krishna, 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 the more we are acknowledging that I am not the proprietor, he is the proprietor. I am not the boss, he is the boss. I am not the controller, I am not the Ishvara, he is the Ishvara. So we are acknowledging the Lord's superiority over us. And the more we chant, the more we are reminding ourselves that we are inferior, we are insignificant, and he is the best, he is the supreme. So that's why chanting will help us become humble. So four qualities that are favorable for chanting are described in the third shloka. What are they? Four qualities: humility, tolerance, respecting others, not expecting respect for oneself, no false prestige. These four qualities are favorable for chanting, for overall bhakti. But there are five qualities that are obstacles in bhakti. Just as these four qualities described in the third shloka will help us come closer to Krishna, help us advance in bhakti, there are five other qualities that will act as great obstacles in our bhakti. And those five qualities are described in the next shloka, fourth shloka of Sikshastakam. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, jagadisha kamaye. Mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir ahayituki tvayi. Now let's see the meaning of this shloka. Na dhanam. Dhanam means money. Dhanam is not necessarily money only. Anything wealth, anything like it can be dollars, rupees, pounds. It can be diamonds, gold, silver. It can be land, home, vehicles, property. All this is under the umbrella of dhanam. Here, all this is wealth, material wealth, basically. Na dhanam means I don't want any wealth because that's detrimental for our spiritual progress. Na dhanam. Na janam. Janam means followers. Somehow the PowerPoint is not working. The slides are not going faster. Okay, anyways, you're able to see. Janam means followers. Sometimes in this material world, there are so many celebrities, there are so many people uh, who adore us, who like us, who follow us. In the modern terminology, social media terminology, like, follow, comment, share, right? So many people do that for an average conditioned soul in this world. So we may think that they're our people. We may think uh, that we may feel little proud just because there are so many followers. But that uh, mood of enjoyment in one's followers, that is detrimental, right? Yes, one can follow, but the followers are Krishna's followers. Being an instrument of Krishna, somebody, a devotee, may try to spread Krishna consciousness, try to speak a little bit about Krishna to enlighten common people, and then bring them closer to Krishna and make them Krishna's followers. So while a devotee preacher is making someone follower of Krishna, because that devotee is acting as a medium, sometimes apparently people may follow him, but ultimately they are supposed to be followers of Krishna. But if somebody gets intoxicated seeing that, oh, I have so many followers, that's a great obstacle in one's bhakti. Dhanam is one obstacle. Having dhanam is not the problem. Having dhanam is not problem, but feeling very possessive about one's possessions. That is the problem. Even Kunti Maharani says, Janmaishwarya Shrita Shribhir Edhamanabadah Puman Naivar Hatyabhidhatum Vaitvam Kinchana Gocharam. Janma, high birth. Shruta, great education. Shri, beauty. Janma Aishwarya Shruta. Shruta is education. Janma Aishwarya is opulence. So this high birth, opulence, education, beauty, wealth, followers on the material plane, they may be very exciting. They may be seen as great qualities, but ultimately, if one is not very conscious, Krishna conscious, these very great material qualifications will act as great obstacles in one's bhakti. So having high birth is not the problem. Having dhanam is not the problem. But if you are becoming a victims of that dhanam, and not worshipping the Lord, becoming proud, that's a problem. Having Janam, followers is not a problem. Ramanujacharya had so many followers. Madhacharya had so many followers. Prabhupada had so many followers. So many great Vaishnava Acharyas had so many followers, but all these followers are basically Krishna's followers. And Acharyas are facilitating or helping, acting as transparent uh, representatives of the Supreme Lord to bring people closer to Krishna, right? So third is Sundarim. Sundari is a beautiful wife, or this basically indicates an attraction to the opposite gender. Sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times in this material world, there is attraction between the opposite genders. So when somebody is attracting towards you on a physical plane, so one feels a sense of superiority complex. Oh, see, so many people are getting attracted to me. So that kind of undue, unnecessary, non-spiritual attraction between two opposite genders and being infatuated by that can also act as a great obstacle in devotional service. Fourth is kavitam. Kavita literally means poetry. But here it can also mean praise, fame, scholarship, all this. So that also is very detrimental to bhakti. Oh, Jagadisha, Lord of Universe, Kamaye. Kamaye means I don't desire. So you just add this Kamaye next to all this na, na, na. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought that if I just put only one na here, no dhanam, no janam, no dhanam, janam, sundarim, people may apply that na only to dhanam. So let me put na three times. Just like Harer Namayava Kevalam, Kalau Nastieva, 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 three times it's mentioned. Whenever you emphasize on something three times, that's taken more seriously. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, Na kamaye dhanam, na kamaye janam, na kamaye sundari. I don't want wealth, I don't want followers, I don't want association with opposite gender. Kavitamba, I also don't want any poetry, fame, praise, reputation, scholarship. Then what do you want? Mama Janmani Janmanishware. This is another interesting point. He says Janmani Janmani. What does it mean? He doesn't mind taking one more birth. Mama Janmani Janmanishwari means he is not aspiring for liberation also. Many times we may think that only 4 points are mentioned here. Na dhanam, na dhanam, na sundarim, kavitam. So these four are obstacles. But Janmani Janmani means a desire to terminate one's tenure in this material world also can act as an obstacle in bhakti. If Krishna wants us to stay in the material world for preaching purpose or for some other service, devotee should be willing to extend oneself and serve the Lord. But if a devotee is aspiring for liberation, such a devotee is not pure devotee. In fact, aspiration for liberation is more dangerous. I have to, liberation basically means terminating the cycle of birth and death, right? By performing bhakti, naturally, the cycle of birth and death will be terminated, and that liberation becomes a byproduct of bhakti. But if one specifically desires only liberation and not bhakti, not loving service to the Supreme Lord, then there's a problem. You only want the byproduct, you don't want the main product. The main product is bhakti, loving service, loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord Krishna. That's the ultimate aspiration of a devotee. So while performing that loving devotional service unto Krishna, you may not be liberated from cycle of birth and death. In the sense that you may still continue in this material world, take one more birth, take one more birth, take one more birth, but that birth is not necessarily the birth like a conditioned soul. You may take one more birth to do more service to the Lord. One devotee was saying, actually, one lifetime is not sufficient to serve Prabhupada. I think I need more lifetimes to serve Prabhupada. One devotee said it. Means there's so much of enthusiasm, there's so much of opportunity for different services. So that means this devotee has more appetite to serve the Lord, that the devotee doesn't mind taking one more birth or 10 more births. That's what Lord Shiva also told Mother Parvati in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam. Narayana para sarve nakutascha bibhyati swargapavarga narakeshu api tulyarthadarshinaha. Narayana para means those devotees who are completely dedicated to Narayana. Nakutascha bibhyati, they are never fearful of anything. Swarga means heaven, apavarga means liberation, naraka means hell. Swarga apavarga narakeshu api tulyarthadarshinaha. All are same for a devotee. That is, Swarga or Apavarga or Naraka, all are same. Because devotee doesn't specifically aspire for liberation. That's what Mahaprabhu is saying. Janmani Janmani Ishware, life after life, I just want Bhavata Bhaktir Ahaitu Ki Tvayi. I want, that's all I want. Means he's not aspiring for liberation also. So total 5 things that are obstacles in bhakti. Number 1, wealth, dhanam. Number 2, followers, janam. Number 3, spouse, consort. That is Sundari. Number 4, liberation. Liberation is also an obstacle. Desire for liberation is an obstacle in bhakti. So, but what is Mahaprabhu aspiring for? I just want ahituki bhakti, unmotivated. Hetu means cause. Ahetu means no cause, means no reason for performing bhakti. Reason in the sense, no motivation. You are not performing bhakti expecting something in return. You are selflessly, without any material motivations, trying to serve the Lord. So that is bhakti. So these are 5 obstacles. Let's discuss these 5 obstacles one by one. We have seen the spirit of not having any material desires of these 5 categories in several devotees. One devotee is this Chitraketu Maharaj, and even Rantidev, and also Nagapatnis. They all offered this kind of prayer. Let's recite this. Nanaka prishtham na cha parameshtham.
Nanaka prishtham na cha parameshtyam.
Sarvabhaumam narasadhipatyam.
Sarvabhaumam narasadhipatyam.
न योग सिद्धिर अपुनर्भवम वा
न योगसिद्धिरपुनर्भवं वा
समञ्जसत्वा विरहय्यकाङ्क्षे
समञ्जसत्वा विरहय काङ्क्ष्य
न नाकपृष्ठम् means heavenly planets, right? Swargalok and all, that is heaven. Nacha parameshtyam, parameshti is Brahma. Parameshti means the position of Brahma, that is Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. Na sarvabhaumam, sarvabhaumam means sovereignty over this entire Bhumandala. Here, Vritrasura is praying like this. Nanaka Prishna means I am not interested in heavenly planets. Okay, are you interested in Brahma's planet, which is higher than heavens? No, I don't want that also. Parameshtim also is eliminated. So the upper planetary systems from Bhavarloka till Satyaloka are removed, are eliminated as his aspirations in the first line. Fine, you don't want upper six planetary systems. Are you interested in the middle planetary system of Bhumandala? You want that? Then he says, no, na sarva bhaumam. He also says, na. Just like that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, na janam, na chandarim, na dhanam. He is also saying the same thing. Na naka prishtam, na cha parameshtyam, na sarva bhaumam, na rasadhipatyam. Sarva bhaumam is sovereignty over earthly planet. I don't want this Bhumandala plane also. So top seven planetary systems are eliminated in his prayer. Somebody may ask him, oh, are you interested in bottom planetary systems? The lower seven planetary systems, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, Bhutala, Patala. Are you interested in that? He says, no, na Rasadhipatyam. I don't want any Rasadhipatyam also. Rasaloka, then Pataloka, Atala, Vitala, I don't want any of them. So all 14 planetary systems are eliminated. He doesn't want any of these 14 planetary systems. Now somebody may ask him, you want yoga siddhis? If somebody has yoga siddhis, yogic perfections, they can go to any of the 14 planetary systems, wherever they want. For example, Naradaman is there. He doesn't have a permanent residence as such, but he can go to any planet he wants. He can go to Satyalok and meet Brahma. He can go to Swargalok and meet Indra. He can come to Bhulok and meet all the earthly planets. He can go wherever he wants. You want that kind of yoga siddhis? Always you have, what is it called? Some anyways, there is some license for you to travel anywhere and everywhere. So you want that? No, I don't want yoga siddhis. Okay, you want liberation? No, apunar bhavam va. I don't want liberation also. Then what do you want? I want your service. Our Vritrasura says that aham hare tava padaikamula dasanudaso bhavitasmi bhuyah. All I want is service to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in the mode of a servant to the servant. I don't want any great position in the 14 planetary systems. I don't want mystic siddhis. I don't want liberation also. Something similar to what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. This includes all dhanam, janam, sundaram, everything. In the later shlokas also he says, our Rudrasura says in the later shlokas also, what is that? He says, I don't want any wealth, family, wife, children. Now, anyways, I forgot that shloka. Basically, in Vritrasura's prayers, he is exhibiting that sincere desire to serve the Lord and complete disinterest in everything material. Some very much in line with Nadhanam, Najanam, Nasundarim. Now, one more shloka from Bhagavad Gita. He says, recite. Ananyaschintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Ananyas Chintayantomam, very popular shloka from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Everybody knows. Devotees don't want to listen to anything else other than Krishna Katha. They don't want to think of anything else other than Krishna. Ye janaha paryupasate, whoever worships me perfectly like this, without any distractions or deviations in the mind, without any attraction towards any allurements in this material world, whoever worships me like this, Yogakshemam vahamyaham, I take care of whatever they want. So when this sense of dependence is there on Krishna, when this sense of affiliation and belonging to the Supreme Lord Krishna is there, so where is the possibility of anyone desiring for anything else? I have the Supreme Personality of Godhead with me, so I don't feel any fear. I don't feel any attraction towards anything which is not connected to Him. I don't feel like acquiring some wealth or money or followers or anything like that, because the Lord is there to take care of me. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. Whatever we need, the Lord will supply. Whatever we want, the Lord, if it is useful for us, if we deserve it, the Lord will supply. When the Lord is there as our protector, as our provider, as our maintainer, where is the possibility of we desiring something else independently? When the parents are supplying everything to the children, will the children go to the neighboring houses and says, "Can you give me this? Can you give me that? I'm hungry. Just give me some bread." So a child who is nicely protected by parents will not go to some neighbors' houses and beg for food, right? Similarly, we are all Krishna's children. When he says Yogakshemam Bahamyaham, I'll take care of you nicely. So where is the possibility of we going to Swargalok, Indra, Indra, can you give me one position in your planet? I also want to become Devata. Indra will say, you should perform sacrifices, you should perform some worship. Then you conduct all kinds of karma kandic activities, and then he will give you some position in the heavenly planet. Hmm. And after some time, he'll say, get out from here. Why are you asking me to get out? Because Kshine Punya Martilokam Vishanti. You have acquired this much Punya. So that much time only you are allowed to stay in Sargaloka. Get lost from here. Then again we have to acquire Punya to go to Svargaloka. Similarly, whichever Loka you want to go, they will say, you have applied a visa for how many days? This much time only you can stay here. But in spiritual world, once you perform bhakti unto the Supreme Lord Krishna, there is no possibility of desiring anything else, and the Lord will never disown you. Yad gatva nivartante tad dhama parama mama. Once you go to the spiritual world, you don't have to come back. But once you go to heavenly planets, kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. As soon as your pious credits are exhausted, you have to come back to this earthly planet. If you want to go again acquire some punya. But bhakti is not like that. You do Sravanam, Kirtanam, Swaranam, Padasevanam, and you go to the spiritual world, then permanently with Krishna. So we need to understand where we are taking shelter of. When a child takes shelter of some neighbors or someone else somewhere else just because they're giving some chocolates or biscuits or cakes, rejecting their parents who are lovingly taking care of them, the child is acting foolishly. Similarly, a devotee, a living entity who is an amsha of Krishna, should take shelter of Krishna. Krishna said, Mamaivamsho jivaloke jiva bhutas sanatanaha. And even if you reject Krishna's shelter and take shelter of some devata, someone else, some Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Vayu, whatever, whatever they provide you is also coming from Krishna only. Whatever they are giving us is only because Krishna has given them something. And if they are arrogant, Krishna can take away their position also. Indra was very arrogant because he was receiving so much worship from the earthly residents. They were doing some Indra Puja. And Krishna understood. He is becoming very proud. Let me take away everything from him. So Indra Puja is cancelled because Indra is proud. So even if a Devata offers some kind of boons or benedictions or takes care of the maintenance of an average conditioned living entity, without Krishna's empowerment, they cannot do that. Therefore, better take shelter of Krishna. And when you are fully confident that Krishna is your protector and provider and master and controller and supreme loving father, supreme well-wisher, bhoktaram ignatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudam sarvabhutanam, then you don't desire for any great position in the spirit, in upper planets or lower planets. So na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitamba, all this you can reject. Mama janmani janmanishware, even liberation, desire for liberation also is rejected. Bhavatat bhakti rahitu ki tvai. Let me just do bhakti. Unmotivated bhakti, selfless bhakti. That is real advancement in spiritual life. We already discussed this shloka. Janma Ishwara Shrita Shri Bhiredhamana Malakuma. She also says, Janma Aishwarya, Janma is high birth. Aishwarya is so much of opulence. Shruta, education. Shri, physical beauty. So all these four things are not bad, but if they induce mada, pride in you, they become very, very unfavorable for bhakti. Similarly, when Mahaprabhu said, Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, dhanam is not necessarily unfavorable for bhakti. Right? If we have very obsession, great obsession for dhanam, that obsession becomes unfavorable. But dhanam is required to serve the Lord. Dhanam is what? Lakshmi. So Lakshmi must be engaged in the service of Narayana. So to run a temple, you need money. To purchase some ingredients and flowers or fruits and offer to Krishna, you need some money. So dhanam has its role to play. Followers, janam, they have their role to play. Unless we have so many followers, how can services be done? One person cannot do all services. So when you have so many people contributing in different services, you can do. So Prabhupada engaged all his followers in Krishna service, right? Several acharyas have so many followers, all of them are engaged in Krishna service. You need to make them Krishna conscious and engage them in Krishna service. These followers are also good. But if the obsession is for dhanam, janam, sundarim, kavita, and not for Krishna, so that obsession, that infatuation, that desire to enjoy dhanam, janam, sundarim will act as a great obstacle in bhakti, in ahitaki bhakti. So nothing wrong in having janma, ishvara, shruta, shri, but mada should not be there. Intoxication should not be there. Having possessions is not wrong. Being possessive about one's possessions is wrong. Because Krishna is akinchana gocharam. Krishna is visible and accessible and merciful towards those people who have absolutely no sense of possessiveness, who are akinchana. Akinchana means they have no attachment towards anything, materially impoverished. This shloka does not mean all poor people are pure devotees and all wealthy people are fallen souls. That's not the meaning of this shloka, by the way. There can be pure devotees amongst wealthy people also, amongst beautiful people also, amongst people who have so many followers also. Right? There can be pure devotees in those categories also. However, all these great devotees who have access to all these material opulences don't have mada or pride. They are not puffed up. Now, let's read them one by one. Na dhanam. Let's focus on dhanam first. Let's recite this shloka. Na hyanyojushato josyan
नह्यन्नो जोषितो जोष्यान्
बुद्धिभ्रंशो रजो गुणः
बुद्धिभ्रंशो रजो गुणः
श्रीमदाद् अभिजात्यादेर्
श्रीमदादविजात्यादे
यत्र स्त्रीद्युतमासवः.
यत्र स्त्रीद्युतमाशवः.
Now we have seen five things: Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, Kavita, and desire for liberation. These five can be obstacles. We have seen that. Now, out of all these, which is a greater obstacle? Definitely, desire for liberation is a greater obstacle. But amongst the first four, Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, Kavita, or Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, of all these, which is the most and most dangerous obstacle in bhakti? Dhanam, money. Right? That's what this shloka says. You know, this shloka is spoken by Narada Muni when he saw Nalakavira and Manigriva bathing in this Mandakini Ganga along with so many girls, Sundarim. They were bathing with Sundarim because they had a lot of dhanam. In this context, Narada Muni analyzes their situation and says, Nahiyanyo dushato joshyan buddhi bramsho rajogunaha. Shri Madat. Out of these four things, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, Shri can cause great mada. We have seen, right? Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, and mada. So, Shri mada basically means too much of intoxication because of your wealth. Of course, in the previous shloka, Shri is referred to wealth. Shri is referred to beauty, and Aishwarya is referred to wealth. But sometimes Shri can also mean wealth. So here in this context, Shri Mada refers to intoxication or pride caused by wealth, material opulence. Because when somebody has money, even if he doesn't have education, he can get all the privileges that an educated person can get, right? So money is there. He can pay he can just employ people from very prestigious educational institutions. He can pay the money and get things done. So although he does not have education personally, because he has money, he is able to pay very educated people. Somebody may not have physical beauty, but if he has so much wealth, he can even try to improve one's beauty, physical beauty, or if that is not possible, also whatever privileges that a beautiful person can get, he can also get, right? Because he has wealth. So he says, when somebody has so much wealth, Stri Dyutamasavaha, naturally they become very addicted to attachment to opposite gender, or illicit relationships, or gambling, meat eating. Generally, people who are very, very wealthy, they can get anything they want. They are not sufficiently merciful towards other people. They even try to kill innocent animals also, and take pleasure in their flesh. So Narada Muni analyzes that too much of attachment to wealth can cause greater problems. Even if you have other opulences like beauty, education, followers, etc., if you don't have money, you can't do much. There are so many people who are maybe following you. There may be so many people who adore you. But if you don't have money, you may not be able to maintain yourself. And some people who have great dignity, they may not be asking their followers for money. Or the followers are there, they themselves may not be so sufficiently wealthy, right? But someone has wealth, he can be more proud, he can be more degraded, right? There's a sense of security that people experience in wealth. So you can read 10th canto, 10th chapter for more details, the great dangers of wealth. I'm just giving a small description here. So dhanam is very intoxicating. But a devotee doesn't want dhanam, doesn't want material opulence. Bharat Maharaj, for example, he had opulence greater than Indra in one sense. He had so many ministers and wealth and followers and treasury, and he is the king of the entire Bhumandala. But Bharat Maharaj rejected all these material opulences that he had, all the wealth he had, just like someone uh, rejects stool after passing it. Someone is not attached to one stool after passing it. Similarly, he also rejected all his wealth. Dhruva Maharaj, after performing bhakti for 6 months, after becoming a great lover of Lord Vasudeva, he has given up his attachment to attaining position superior to his great grandfather Brahma also. In fact, uh, Dhruva Maharaj began worshipping the Lord uh, just with a desire to attain a position superior to great grandfather Brahma. But after performing bhakti, he rejected. So we have seen so many devotees who have rejected their dhanam. In fact, all the Rajarshis in Bhagavatam, all the saintly kings in Bhagavatam, they have rejected their wealth and retired and went into some small forest and performed bhakti. So devotees reject dhanam. Any specific examples that you want to say? Who rejected dhanam for ahitaki bhakti? Yes.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Okay. Any other examples? Six Goswamis, very good. Six Goswamis is a very wonderful example. Tyaktva turnamase shamandalapatim srenim sadat tuchhavat. So thinking that it is a blade of grass, they rejected. And also we have the example of Avanti Brahman. It was taken away from him forcefully. So if you don't voluntarily give up, then it will be taken away anyways. So na dhanam. So dhanam is not required. But if you have dhanam, you can always engage in Krishna service. Second is janam. Let me give an example. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known to be the first person who has manifested the symptoms of love of Godhead, prema, in the in Vraja mood. But even before Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Krishna prema is exhibited to a wonderful extent by Madhavendra Puri, right? So this Madhavendra Puri was a very exalted devotee, and once he found Gopalji deity, Gopalji appeared in his dream, and Madhavendra Puri extracted the deity and then started deity worship of Gopalji in Vrindavan Dham. And then Gopalji said, "Can you please get some chandan for me? Because of lying in bushes for a long time, my body is very hot. So I want some chandan to be applied on my body." Then Madhavendra Puri went all the way to Jagannath Puri. On the way, he came to a place called Ramuna, and he had a wonderful reciprocation with Khirchor Gopinath at Ramuna. So Khirchor Gopinath, he had stolen some pot of sweet rice, Amritakeli sweet, for Madhavendra Puri. And as all of you know, the pujari, the priest of Khirchor Gopinath temple, brought that pot of Amritakeli stolen by Gopinathji personally to Madhavendra Puri. And he offered obeisances to him also. At this moment, Madhavendra Puri thought, the Supreme Lord, in his form as Gopinathji, he had stolen sweet rice for me. And this pujari came to know about it. He will tell 10 other people, and they will tell 100 other people, and it will become viral. And all these people will start coming to me and start worshipping me. So I don't want this worship. I don't want these followers. People will start following me. So he ran away. Our Madhavendra Puri, out of his fear of reputation, fear of Kavitam, fear of Janam, he just ran away from Ramuna and went to Jagannath Puri. He was focusing on his service to get Chandan. But before even Madhavendra Puri reached Jagannath Puri, his fame reached, right? His fame means Kavitam already reached Jagannath Puri, and people are already following him. Madhavendra Puri, we are your fans, we are your followers. You tell us whatever you want us to do, we will do for you. Then what did Madhavendra Puri do? Although he is not personally interested in Janam and Kavitam, Madhavendra Puri utilized the Janam and Kavitam for Gopalji's service. He said, all I want is some chandan, some camphor. I want to grind this chandan and apply it on Gopalji's body. Can you please do some arrangements? So having followership is not wrong. Having kavitam, praise, fame, scholarship or whatever, that is also not wrong. But we should have the ability to engage all this kavitam and janam in Krishna service. Otherwise, if we are just enjoying the praise given by the followers, the claps given by the followers, and not giving them anything Krishna conscious, or not connecting them to Krishna, or engaging them in Krishna service, then that kavitam, that janam is just a obstacle in our bhakti, right? So Madhavendra Puri had kavita, I had janam also, but he engaged all of them in Krishna service. Same thing with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was little younger, before 24, people did not take him seriously. Once he was chanting Gopi, 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 Gopi in great devotional ecstasy. And one Sanskrit student saw Lord Chaitanya and said, if you chant Krishna's names, you will get some piety. Why are you chanting Gopi's names unnecessarily? Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu found two mistakes in his explanation. One, by chanting Krishna's names, you will not get piety, you will get Krishna Prema. Second, just as Krishna's name is spiritually powerful, the names of his devotees are also spiritually powerful. If you are taking the names of some gopis who are eternal associates of Krishna, you will definitely get spiritual advancement. You will become dear to Krishna. So don't underestimate the potential of a devotee. You can have devotion towards the Lord, but devotees are also great. So we chant Jai Prabhupada, we chant Prahlad Maharaj ki Jai along with Narsimdev. So whichever Goswami's appearance or disappearance is coming, so we just chant their names nicely. Recently we had the disappearance day of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and also Raghunath Das Goswami. So we were discussing their pastimes, right? Srila Raghunath Das Goswami ki Jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. So we say that. So chanting the names of devotees is also great. But this person did not take it seriously. He did not take even Mahaprabhu's activity seriously. So then Mahaprabhu understood. I think I need respect. Mahaprabhu said, no false praise, not expecting respect from others. But if people disrespect Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they will be degraded in their spiritual life. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas so that people can respect him and they become spiritually benefited. So even if a devotee accepts worship, accepts respect, accept praise or whatever, accepts wealth, accepts followers, all that is meant to bring common people closer to Krishna, right? So all these things like Janam, Kavita, all this have their applicability in Krishna consciousness. We need to have expertise in engaging them in Krishna service. When we don't have that, better stay away from it and then just do bhakti. But if one has the expertise and ability to engage them in Krishna service, then one can accept them and then advance in Krishna consciousness. But if one has excitement only for this Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, Kavita, and doesn't have the expertise in engaging them in Krishna service, then that will be a great obstacle in bhakti, right? So we are not hating Dhanam, we are hating attachment to Dhanam, being disconnected from Krishna. Anyone else who has rejected Janam? Followers? Janam or Kavita? Due to their bhakti to Krishna.
Haridas Thakur.
Haridas Thakur. Wonderful. Okay. Any other? Okay, fine. Enough examples. Now, Sundari. Sundari means attachment to opposite gender. Arjuna, he went to heavenly planets once, and Urvashi said, I like you, I can become your consort and all. But he said, no, 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 you are like my mother. He rejected. Similarly, Haridas Thakur, he was chanting the holy names of the Lord, and one lady came. She was sent by Ramachandra Khan, and she was trying to allure him. But Haridas Thakur said, I have to complete my rounds. You can just wait for me. Then I'll attend to you. I'll fulfill your desires. But his chanting is never complete only. And within 3 days, she started chanting. So there is no attachment to Sundari in the in a devotee's mind, whether it is Arjuna, Haridas Thakur, or anyone. Then Kavita. We already discussed a little bit about Kavita in Madhavendra Puri's case, but we can discuss a little more also. Kulavecha Sridhar. He did not want any Ashtasiddhis. He just wanted to see Nimai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this form as Nimai, and just bargain. Nimai would come and bargain for some banana leaves and bananas, and Kulavecha Sridhar is so absorbed with that bargaining with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with Nimai, and that's a wonderful pastime, which the Lord and the devotee both relish. So he says, I don't want any Ashtasiddhis. In Mahaprakash Leela also, so many devotees say, we don't want followers, we don't want wealth, we don't want fame. All we want is just your Ahituki Bhakti. Life after life, we want to serve you. Next, Janmani Janmani. Very important point. Janmani Janmani refers to liberation. A devotee doesn't want liberation. You know that shloka? I didn't put it in slow here. Punascha bhuyat bhagavatyanante. Who can recite the shloka? Punascha bhuyat bhagavatyanante ratihi prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsu yam upayami srishtim maitriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die within 7 days. Then he said, if at all I have to take birth again in this material world, I have absolutely no reservation. He means I want attachment to the Supreme Lord Krishna. Bhagavatyanante ratihi prasangascha tadashrayeshu. I want the association of those devotees who have taken shelter of the Lord. Then third, he wanted this Maitriyastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyah. I want loving friendships with all living beings. So he's aspiring for these three. Again, no problem. I just want these three. I want attachment to the Lord, association of devotees, and friendly relationships with all living entities. But I have absolutely no reservations taking birth again. If I'm not qualified for liberation, in fact, I don't want liberation. If the Lord wants me to give liberation along with some seva, no problem. I can take it. But only liberation, I don't want. Salokya sarishte samipya sarupya ekatvam apyuta diyamanam na grihananti vina mat sevanam janaha. How can I accept the same form like the Lord, Sarupya Mukti, if there is no seva? Sarishti. How can I accept the same opulences like the Lord if there is no opportunity for seva? Yes, generally, those who attain this personal liberations, they have some service also. But here, the shloka says that if there is no service, even these personal liberations are also not exciting to me. Impersonal liberation is never exciting anyways. But even personal liberations also we don't want. Varam deva moksham na mokshavadhim va na chanyam vrineham vareshadapiha idam teva purnatha gopala balam sada me manasya virastam kimanye. He says, Varam Deva Moksham Na. I don't want moksha, liberation. Moksha Avadhi means the limit of liberation, which is attaining Vaikuntha planet or entrance into spiritual world. I don't want that also. So devotees reject this liberation also. Let's recite this one shloka. Yavat te maya yaspristam
Yavate maya sprishta
ramama iha karmabhihi
Ramama iha karmabhi
तावद् भवत् प्रसंगानां
tavat bhavat prasanganam
संगस्यान्नो भवे भवे
sangasyano bhave bhave.
यावत् ते मायया स्पृष्टा because of the influence of Maya भ्रमाम इह कर्मभिः let us go from one planet to another planet because of our karma but तावद् भवत् प्रसंगानां we want association of your devotees संगस्यान्नो भवे 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 भवे. Even Prachetas are also saying that we can take birth again and again, Janmani Janmani. We can take multiple Janmas, but we want association of devotees. We want bhakti. We want an opportunity to practice bhakti. Mukunda, he was ready to wait for 10 million lifetimes even to get darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You see how advanced the devotees are. So, Bhavatat Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvayi. Let's talk about Ahaituki Bhakti now. सवै पुंसा परो धर्मो यतो भक्तिरधोक्षजी अहैतुकी अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसीदति. This अहैतुकी अप्रतिहता bhakti, unmotivated and uninterrupted bhakti, is the natural constitutional position of every single living entity. It's the supreme dharma of all living entities, and only that will satisfy the heart completely. Yayatma suprasidati. In comparison to that, liberation is insignificant. Dhanam, Janam, Kavita, Sundari, all these five things are insignificant. Having these five things is not wrong, but being obsessed with these five things at the cost of compromising on Ahaituki Bhakti is wrong. Therefore, these five must be seen as obstacles if you don't have the ability to engage them in Krishna's service. But these five are not necessarily obstacles if we have the expertise and ability to engage them in Krishna's service. But in this material world, these five things, Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, all these things can intoxicate us, can distract us from bhakti. So we need to ensure that although we have access to Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, etc., but we should never be allured by that, thinking that Ahaituki Bhakti is my eternal constitutional position. Madguna Swati Matrena, I think there are many other references. We can stop here. मन्ये धनाभिजन रूप तपस्रुतोजः तेजः प्रभाव बल पौरुष बुद्धि योगान आराधनाय हि भवन्ति परस्य पुंसो भक्त्या तुतोष भगवान् गजयूथपायन्. So all this dhana, abhijana, rupa, tapa, shruta, oja, teja, prabhava, bala, purusha, buddhi, yoga, all these 1 dozen qualifications, not only that 5 discussed in that shloka, all these 1 dozen material qualifications, na aradhanaya hi bhavanti. They are not prerequisites for your service to Krishna. They are neither qualifications nor disqualifications to attain Krishna's grace. You have dhanam. Is it a qualification to attain Krishna's grace? No. But is it a disqualification? No. Just because you are wealthy, that does not mean you cannot chant Hare Krishna. Even wealthy people also can chant Hare Krishna. So, Dhanam, Janam, Sundarim, Kavita, they are neither qualifications nor disqualifications if you are in proper consciousness. But if you are not in proper consciousness, they can be disqualifications. They will not allow us to take shelter of Krishna. Too much of attachment to Dhanam will block our progress in bhakti. Too much attachment to fans and followers and becoming obsessed with their praises and claps and whistles, that will block entrance into Ahituki Bhakti. So we can maintain all this, but our mood should be Dasanudas of Krishna. So these are some thoughts on this shloka. Thank you very much. Shri Sikshastakam ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Any quick revision? You want to summarize what are the 5 obstacles in Ahituki Bhakti?
The first one is health, followers, beautiful spouse, fame, and liberation.
Okay, fine. Okay, any questions or comments? Kalpana Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
I have a doubt. See, each and everything is Krishna, Guruji. But why people, whenever they feel low, why they are blaming Krishna? I just want to know the reason about this. Whether they are non-devotee or devotee, why they are immediately blaming God?
Why they are blaming God? Because they don't understand the glory of the Lord. They have 100 different reasons to blame God. Basically, the reason is they are not God conscious, they are not Krishna conscious, they are obsessed with their own material mentalities that can make them even blaspheme the Lord, even misunderstand the Lord, because they are prioritizing something else other than the Lord. They think dhanam is important for them. Living a very comfortable life in this material world is important for them. But if there is some discomfort is given by the Lord Himself as a result of their own past mistakes, they are unable to accept it. They don't have the honesty to accept that their difficulties are results of their own past mistakes. And they want somebody to blame, they blame God. And when they are when they have some pleasures in life, they don't thank God so much. But when they have pains in life, they blame God. If you don't thank God when you have pleasure in life, how can you have the authority or right to blame God when you have pain in life? And if you are seeing pleasures as God sent, why can't we see pains also as God sent? If the Lord has caused a pleasure, even there are some people who thank the Lord also when they have some pleasure, but they blame Lord when they have pain. But those people who have some little maturity to see that, okay, this pleasure I am getting in life only because of the Lord's mercy, why can't they also understand that if the Lord is merciful enough to give me some pleasure, why would the Lord be hard-hearted to give me pain? Maybe I deserve it. So without when we don't have the sense of responsibility to accept punishment for our mistakes, when we don't feel that responsibility for our pains also, when we don't have the humility to accept that I can also do some mistakes because of which I will suffer, then we tend to blame the Lord. Okay, Mataji.
Yeah, yes, Guruji, I can understand. But still, whenever, whatever it's happening in their life, they are blaming immediately God. God only, Prabhuji. That's now I can understand. But people has to understand. I have to pray Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. We'll meet next week and we'll cover a couple of shlokas from Sikshastakam. Sorry, Sunday we can meet.